All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Tuesday afternoon. Another edition of Knicks Offseason Central, your show for Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and of course, your reactions to all of it. Number one show for the fans, by the fans. Number one Knicks podcast for the fans, by the fans. On today's show, the Knicks are the favorites to land Joel Embiid, according to a particular sports book. We're going to talk about it and talk about a potential fallout in Philly. Plus, Evan Fournier rips the Knicks, man. Evan Fournier, in an interview with a French media outlet, goes in on Tom Thibodeau and the New York Knicks, man. So we're going to talk all about it. Plus, Draymond Green had something to say about Knicks fans, and Knicks fans weren't too happy about. So let's lock in. Lunchtime edition of Knicks Fan TV. CB the franchise here. Alex Rotaros on the ones and twos. A little matinee edition, if you will, man. Al, how you feeling, man? First and foremost, let's get to the health part of it. Let's tap in with Mr. Vegas, see how things are going. What's the status, man?
I'm feeling better.
Okay.
Slowly but surely feeling better. Got probably the deepest sleep that I've had in a while. Slept for 9 hours last night.
Okay.
It usually doesn't happen, man. Had to go to bed early.
Yeah.
Like, all right, gotta get my vocals right. Gotta get this nose taken care of. All right. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, and matinee edition, if we're not doing NBA report, we're right here, right?
There you go.
But I'm feeling good, man. I'm ready to talk about Knicks. I'm ready to talk about everything that's going on in the news. But how are you feeling today? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. You know, look, anytime we get a chance to come on and chop it up with the people, man, whether it's talking Knicks or talking on the NBA report in the off season, which is never really off for us, it's always a good day, man. You know, so it's always a good
Absolutely.
day. And if you check the social media temperature right now, it's pretty hot. So we got to get on here. Give the people a platform. Number one show for the fans, by the fans, to talk about it, to weigh in. If you guys want to call in, 657-383-1509 is the number to call, or you can hit us up on the Knicks Fan TV Discord. Okay, welcome to the franchise channel memberships, AC. Welcome, AC, to the franchise channel memberships. Okay. All right, let's get to this Embiid stuff right now. They had the Uninterrupted Film Festival out there in Los Angeles this year. Great job by LeBron, Mav Carter, and the people at Spring Hill for putting that on. And Joel Embiid, the process, was interviewed by Mav Carter and talked about his future with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, here is what Embiid had to say. Here's what he had to say. Listen up.
Your brain, but what can we look forward from Joel Embiid?
I just want to win a championship. Whatever it takes. I don't know what that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or, anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one, and then you can think about, the next one. It's not easy. But it takes more than 1, 2, 3 guys. You gotta have good people around you, and like myself. Every single day I work hard to be at that level, so I can produce and make it happen. So every single day that's working towards that.
Your brain, but what can we look forward from Joel Embiid?
I just want to win a championship. Whatever it takes. I don't know what that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or, anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one, and then you can think about, the next one. It's not easy, but, it takes more than, 1, 2, 3 guys. You gotta have, good people around you, and like myself. Every single day I work hard to, be at that level, so I can produce and make it happen. So every single day that's, working towards that.
All right, so that was that, man. That was the process. Joel Embiid at the Spring Hill Uninterrupted Film Festival says he wants to win a championship, whether it's in Philly or somewhere else. Look, we've heard that before from a lot of stars. A lot of stars will say that to maybe to put pressure on their front office to make moves. And maybe it's just a troll, right? That's what Embiid said. He jumped on to Twitter to say, hey, man, you guys know I'm just a troll. I'm just a big idiot. And look, take it with a grain of salt. However, BetOnline.ag, the sports book, then came out and listed the New York Knicks with the best odds to land Joel Embiid if it's not the Philadelphia 76ers. Knicks at 2-1, Nets at 5-2, Dallas Mavericks 7-2, Pelicans 9-2, Miami Heat 11-2, Lakers 13-2, Utah Jazz 17-2, and OKC at 10-1. Now, let's table the Harden stuff for a hot second and just get in on Embiid, right? The connection with Leon Rose is there. Embiid being represented by CAA. This is the biggest CAA fish of all the CAA fishes to get. If he does become available, again, put the Harden stuff aside. I see some Knicks fans saying, I don't want him. He choked. He hasn't made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's an MVP, hasn't made it. He's got injuries, this, that, and the third. From my perspective, you go get this guy if you can go get this guy. I think they're a long way away from having the chance. But you go get this guy if you can go get him, right? This is the chance to get a guy that can potentially take your team over the top. This is the chance. Would you rather wait around and build in the draft? Do you want to build in the back end of the first round every year with role players and more role players and more role players? Or are you going to take a chance? This is the guy. And I think this, along with other guys, I still think Spider's a Leon target and Booker a little bit less so, because I think his chances of being available via trade are a lot less now that they've retooled with KD and Bradley Beal. But if you have a chance to go get a guy like a Joel Embiid, a needle pusher, what else are you waiting for? You go out there, you put the chips in the middle, and you go get him. You got Brunson here. He's established himself as a star, as an all-star. If you have a chance to go get this guy, you go get him. There's no more. Okay, somebody in chat says, Cyan Jasmine says he's not that guy. Who's the guy? Who are you waiting around for? Unless you want to tell me that all these young kids, we're just going to develop up and grow together into a championship team. It's not going to happen. You go get Joel Embiid. Your thoughts?
CP. Unless it's Giannis Antetokounmpo that somehow magically became available right now, and there's talks about him potentially moving on after this season because he's got one more year left on his contract. Why are we turning our nose up at a guy who just won MVP? Why are we turning our nose up at a guy who's been in consideration top 3 in the league for the last couple of years? You want to tell me that we're going to say, hey, guess what, guys? Guy who just won MVP this season is a 6-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA first team in 2023, 4-time All-NBA second team from 2018 to 2022, 3-time NBA All-Defensive second team from 2018 to 2021, missing 2020, 2-time NBA scoring champ in 2022, 2023, and was part of that All-NBA rookie first team. Not as big of a deal, but still, that's his resume. You're telling me now there are people saying we don't want that guy?
They're
guy
saying
who
we don't need that. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
You're telling me back-to-back years where he's the NBA scoring champion. We don't need that guy.
Yeah.
I think we need to put Joel's entire career in perspective. Yes, he missed the beginning of his career due to injuries. I get that. Took time for him to get on the court to stay healthy. But let's look at the teams that he's had. You talk about Ben Simmons. They've wanted this guy to shoot a jumper, and it's like, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. That was supposed to be his running mate.
The Philadelphia choke jobs is who they've been the last couple of years, bro.
On top of that, you gave him Tobias. You chose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler, right? They could have had Jimmy Butler. They chose Tobias Harris.
Good point.
So now you're going to tell me that team that's second, that plays second, was a shot away. Remember, with Jimmy Butler, JJ Redick, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, they were a Kawhi shot away from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, you're also going to tell me that They now give him James Harden after Ben Simmons choked against the Atlanta Hawks. You're now going to give Joel Embiid a bigger choke artist. Plus, you got to think about Doc Rivers, who's had a up and down coaching career outside of winning a championship in Boston. You had Brown before that, who's in charge of the whole rebuild, trust the process era to begin with, and went through all that tanking stuff. Who has Joel Embiid had that you could say, I know on a consistent night-to-night basis, who's going to improve their game and will show up that he played with? If you put him next to Jalen Brunson, I think that's a deadly combo right there. Yeah. But forget you. We can debate all day about the teams that he's had, right, and where they could have placed. But you're not going to tell me we're going to turn our nose up to a guy with that type of resume if he becomes available and be like, nah, man, we're okay. Nah, that's the guy. You want to talk about championship? You want to talk about contending? All you need is a couple of years of him staying healthy, and who knows? Maybe if you keep the pieces, you draft someone well, right? All these good role players that the Knicks have seemed to be able to find in the later rounds. How do you not sell yourself on Joel Embiid if he's available?
You can't do it, man. You can't do it. There has to come a point where we stop waiting and waiting and wait. It's not going to come via the draft. It's not going to come via the draft. This team right now, this Knicks team, where they are right now, they just got DiVincenzo. This is it. This is it. There's no more big upgrades to come on this team. It's not at Brunson. You know, is RJ going to turn into a superstar, take us to the promised land? I sure hope so. Some of you guys on the Julius Hive think Julius can still do it. Maybe he bounces back after 2 playoff failures. Maybe. But as far as making moves, there's not much left. You going to wait for Zion? Are you going to wait for Devin Booker? You going to hope that Luka Doncic shakes loose? You think Mark Cuban is going to do business with the Knicks? How much longer are you going to wait around? If this guy becomes available, you got to look into it. You got to look into it.
Let me tell you something. Joel Embiid becomes available, I am trading for Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
All right. If you want Donovan Mitchell, this is.
I still think Spider is a possibility. Maybe at a lesser price. I still think Spider is a possibility.
But I'm saying, if you were ready to go all in for Donovan Mitchell, I hope you're ready to go in for Joel Embiid, because I can't see the argument either way. And then for the people who say, well, let's go get Cat to help space the floor. Let's go Miles Turner to go space the floor. Why would you want to go get one of those guys?
No.
That's not even needle mover. This is the legit needle mover.
It's the MVP. This is the MVP. You got Brunson here. If you have a chance to get the NBA MVP, that's where you put the chips in the middle and you go get him, man.
And let's play this fantasy game, right? Denver Nuggets got Nikola Jokic. You got Jamal Murray on the other side.
Yeah.
Who are you going to have that's ready to compete with someone like that?
Right.
Another MVP, right? You're going to need an MVP type caliber.
Yeah. We got to fight fire with fire, man. We got to fight fire with fire. I see people on the Discord, people on the phone lines. Call us up, 657-383-1509. Lunchtime edition of Knicks Fan TV. Number one show for the fans, by the fans. We got, how many people we got in here, man? Rocking with us right now, man. Let's talk about it. I told you it was hot right now. We got 800 people in here on the lunchtime hour. And this is why we're here, man. Let's talk about it. This is what we do. Let me salute the Superchats. Once again, salute to AC for joining the Franchise Channel membership. Salute to Kenny Gales, $5 Super Chat. He's talking about Fournier. We'll get to the Fournier thing in a minute. Shout out to Dr. D-Roy Bramwell, a loyal Franchise Channel member of 4 months now. He says, Knicks fans are so bipolar sometimes. Most times, actually, Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis are available. You get either one, period. The Rhyme Animal, Chuck D, $10 Super Chats says Philadelphia went from a doc to a nurse. They're a swamp. The fans are finished with them. The players, too. I trade everyone except Brunson for Embiid and try to get Harris, too. Dump them draft picks. Dump the picks. I'm with the Rhyme Animal, Chuck D, man. Now we're talking today, man. Now we're talking. Let's get those likes up, as TM said. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's get those likes up. And salute to all our Franchise Channel members as well. Low Post Podcast. You guys like Zach Lowe? Let's hear what Zach Lowe had to say on this topic here of Embiid and the Knicks. Here's Zach Lowe and Dave McMenamin. Here it is.
Terms what everyone paying attention to the NBA landscape already knows, already knew. What are your thoughts as a Philly guy, Dave?
I mean, line up the Acela Express, send him up to New York. That's been what has been the murmurs. You said New York. We've all heard New York. We know the connection between Leon Rose and Joel Embiid.
All right, that was courtesy of NBA New York for posting that clip. That's Dave McMenamin and Zach Lowe of ESPN talking about the connection between Leon Rose and one Joel Embiid. This was back in 2020 when Leon Rose was hired. Shout out to Berman when he used to work for the Post. And Joel's quote on when Leon Rose was hired as president of basketball operations says, Leon is my guy. He's like family to me. When I heard the news, I was happy for him. He's cool. Being an agent for such a long time and getting a GM or president job, I think is amazing. I'm so happy for him. He'll do a good job over there. He's a great human being, and he's going to do a good job.
Family, huh?
Family. You're putting your tinfoil hat on. You're going all the way in, man.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Okay. So that's that, right? Whether it's talk or not, we'll see. However, because a lot of fans say, well, it's not realistic right now, but there is a domino that has to fall first, and it is the James Harden holding pattern with the Philadelphia 76ers. As we know, Harden, he took his pay cut last year, took $15 million off the table to help the team improve. They tried to do that. They brought in PJ Tucker. They brought in all these guys, and then they choked to the Celtics. He took his pay cut with the hopes of getting a longer-term deal down the road. Morey said, thanks, but we got you, because you're not getting a longer-term deal, right? He's looking for probably 4 years. Morey is thinking 2 years. They came to an impasse, and Harden said, okay, I'll opt in, but now you got to trade me. And according to, this is Law Murray of The Athletic, it seems as though Harden, everyone knows Harden wants to get to the Clippers. A source close to Harden, given anonymity so they can speak freely, said that Harden began showing interest in the Clippers as early as late June prior to the decision to opt in, and that Brody, a.k.a. Russell Westbrook, was aware and was on board. So he wanted to get reconnected with Brody, get back home to L.A., and play with Paul George, Kawhi, and Brody. So that's Harden's wish. But the problem is how do the Sixers maintain their contender window by just trading James Harden to the Clippers? We just heard an interview with Sixers GM Daryl Morey. This is courtesy of 97.5, a local station in Philadelphia, the Midday Show. And he said what we already knew. He said a trade for James Harden either has to bring back a player of equal value, or it has to put the Sixers in position to get draft picks where they can flip to get Joel Embiid another running mate. He had Simmons, he had Harden. He needs that. So this is where the Sixers are stuck right now. Daryl Morey has a tough job ahead of him because he either has to pull a rabbit out of a hat where he can get equal value or get a ton of picks to keep this Sixers team in contention, or you hope that Maxey becomes the next NBA All-Star or the next running mate. Maybe Nick Nurse can turn him into. And Maxey's certainly a great player. He's a good player. He's headed towards a great player. But that's where they are, bro. But the Clippers' return is not going to do that for you. So, you got the Dame situation in Portland. You had the Philly situation with Harden, with both teams looking at tough values, tough returns on their assets, man. Your thoughts on the Harden situation?
What's funny is that if they did that triangle, they probably could get something to work out. If Dame wanted to go to Philly, right? Harden wants to go to Clippers. You get both those teams sending all of their draft picks to Portland to help rebuild. That would make the most sense. But Dame doesn't want to go to Philly. He wants to be in Miami, right? And I think Portland's going to try to honor that the best that they can. And then you have Clippers who would love to get James Harden probably to give it one more try with PG and Kawhi and Brody out there. But look, man, I think what we see here is just for Philly. I think they got to be prepared to do a rebuild, and with Maxey leading the way. If you're asking me, just because I don't see what team is going. Let me pull it back. If James Harden had a market, he would not have opted in. Right? If he could have gotten paid, he would not have opted in. That's what he knows. This is probably the last year he can make his dollar value, so he wanted to opt in, make sure he got traded. Because I think everyone else around the league is looking at him like, hey, man, can you get in better shape? You know, we know that you're a type of guy that you didn't like how it was ending in Houston. You forced your way out of there. You didn't want to be in Brooklyn. You forced your way out of there. Now you decide to opt in and stay in Philly, and now you want to get traded to go get a bigger bag somewhere else. But who wants to give James Harden a bigger bag? It doesn't seem like that.
Right.
I think if the Clippers were ready to do anything, they'd try to figure out every possible way to get as much draft capital as possible to go get him. But I think they're also concerned, like, look, if we go get James Harden, do we really want to extend him unless you think about extending PG, Kawhi? Do all those guys want to stay here? So I think for Harden, he's messed up his market. And for that, I don't see how he's gonna. I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to stay and play in Philly, like, and play to his hardest, based on what we saw in Houston. And with all of that said, I'm ready for Philly to start trading Joel Embiid because I just don't see where is this option for another team that is going to come in and say we're going to take James Harden. You know, I don't think even if it's like Miami, right? I don't think Miami's hot on that idea because based on their whole culture, body fat percentage, and when you come into training camp, right? We spoke to Mark Jones from ESPN, and remember he told us a story between him and Jimmy. Get on the scale. What's your body fat? Ready to go. I don't think James Harden's that type of guy to be playing down in Miami. So who's the other team outside of the Clippers? I just don't see it, man.
If they keep him away from booby trap, they'll be all right. But Miami's worse than Houston, so I don't know. I don't know, man. Between booby, those places. I don't know anything about those places. But anyway, I think just like the Simmons trade took a while, went into the season, I think this is going to drag into the season or close to it. And that'll put the fire to Harden's feet where it's like, okay, are you going to play? Are you going to sit out? How are you going to do it? I just don't see how Morey ends up winning in this situation. And so, again, it goes back to the Embiid thing. While I don't think anything is imminent, it's going to come to a head at some point. It's going to come to a head at some point because Philly's window is going to ultimately close. I like Maxey. I think he's a good player. Maybe if they get some draft picks, future. I mean, like even draft picks that they may get from the Clippers, you're talking about way into the future. You're talking about way into the future. So how long is Joel Embiid going to wait around for this team to get back on track?
And if you think about Philly, man, they got these are the first rounders that they have.
Yeah.
They got 2024, 2026, 2028, 29, and 2030. That's how far you can go out and trade and draft picks right now to the future, right?
Yeah.
So you can trade 24, 26, 28 because you traded the draft picks in between. So the Stepien rule comes in and they can't trade unless it's that day, right? Yeah. Unless it's that day, can they trade it? So now you're looking at the draft picks they could trade as 2029 and 2030. So and you can only trade one of them.
Yeah.
Right? And it's probably 2029. So I just don't see whoever they're thinking about getting in return, they don't even have the draft capital for another team to say, we're going to get one first round pick.
Right.
Like, so what are you getting in return for a star unless you're thinking about trading Maxey? And that's somebody who they don't want to trade. That's somebody who they want to keep.
Right.
So Philly's in a tough bind, man.
And that's the whole thing. Like, could a 3-team trade, maybe Dame changes his mind and says, I want to go to Philly. Does Portland want a Maxey paired with a Scoot Henderson? You know what I mean?
Right.
Does Portland want to go that route? Does it make sense for Portland to put a Maxey and a Scoot Henderson, two guys that need the ball to be effective Maxey a little less so. But would they want to go that direction? How do they view Maxey versus Hero? It's interesting, man. I don't know.
But CP, then we go back to that whole same thing with like, if you try to get the Clippers involved, right? Like they can't, let's see, they don't have a 2024 first rounder. They got 25, 27. So they can't trade 25. They got 27, 28, 29, 20, 30. So they got draft picks they could trade. But then once again, since you can't trade back to back, you can't trade. What do you can't? You can't trade. Let's see. So they got 25, 27. You got to trade you got to trade 28, 20, 30, or 29, and that's it. So they can max trade 2 first-round picks from the Clippers, and you have 1 first-rounder that you could trade from Philly. So even if you did a 3-team deal, is 3 first-rounders enough for Damian Lillard? Let's just play that out. Would you think 3 first-rounders for Damian Lillard? You're not getting Tyrese Maxey. Who are you getting from the Clippers if you were to get a young player? Bowen Highlands isn't the guy that you'd want.
Yeah,
so like
that ain't
who how's that even deal work out? You're gonna need another team in here to get another player that's somebody you want to focus around a Portland rebuild to make sure everyone's happy, but I just don't see it, man. I legit don't see it. I think for what you see, and this is something that happened with Morey in Houston, right? He's so gung-ho to trade all these draft picks. And then at the end, remember when James Harden wanted out? That was the benefit of that deal.
Yeah.
They got so many draft picks in return. And now look where Houston is. They got all this young talent. Philly's stuck. You're not going to get a star. And same thing with the Clippers. They're stuck because it's going to be tough for them to get a star.
Yeah. Interesting indeed, man. Let us know your thoughts. Call us up 657-383-1509 or hit us up on the Knicks Fan TV Discord. Al, it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon here on the East Coast. We got 1,100 people here rocking with us. Number 1 show for the fans by the fans is cooking. This is a topic people want to talk about, man. You're sitting there, you're at your job, you're in front of the desk, you're on the computer, the boss is not yakking in your ear. You want to hear Knicks Fan TV. You want to hear CP and Alex talk about these Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and react to it, man. Tell your boss the deadline can wait. We got to make sure the Knicks get in order. It's off-season central, episode number 7. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. My guy Do Things, a loyal franchise channel supporter, says, I'm calling 46 wins next year. I still don't want Embiid, and Alex not making me jump out the window. My legs are still broken. Love to KFTV. Salute, man. Salute, man.
He ain't jumping out the window for Joel Embiid. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, that's what he said, man. That's what he said. If you guys are at work right now watching this, man, put hashtag grind in the chat. If you guys are at work right now, throw a hashtag grind in the chat, man. Let's see who's tapping in right now. Area code 646. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
Mike from Manhattan.
Mike from Manhattan. What's up, man? But we're talking Embiid first. We're not talking Fournier yet. Just FYI.
Talk about Fournier. So with the Embiid, what you were saying is exactly what I agree with. You kind of have to say yes to Embiid. He's MVP. Am I the most excited about it? Not really. Out of like all the super top tier stars, I would prefer someone else. But if you put Brunson and Embiid together, I would say it's kind of equal to Jokic and Murray. And if we got some role players and we could keep a Grimes, I'm jumping out the window. We have a choice. If it fails, it's not like, oh man, the Knicks made a bad choice. Sometimes things don't pan out, but you gotta take the risk. If you don't risk it, you don't get the biscuit.
And he's dropping bars on you.
Yeah, that's what I do, man. You already know I'm here for the bars. I'm saving most of the bars for the season, though. I got one question for y'all.
Yeah.
I got one question for y'all before I leave.
Yeah.
Over under on 1.5 moves RJ adds to his bag this year. I'm going with the under.
Let's get this guy out of here.
Wow.
Salute, man. Salute. Ah, man, we talking Embiid, man. He wants to take a shot at Broadway Barrett, man.
Woo.
Come on, man.
1:03 p.m. on the Eastern Coast, and we're getting ready to attack RJ.
We're in post-game mode. We are back in post-game mode, man. Salute to everybody on the grind.
You thought Knicks fans sleep.
Look, the one item I've been looking for RJ to add to his bag, the same one, mid-range. Study Jimmy. If you want to study DeRozan, you're not going to get the footwork like DeRozan, but if you want to study him, how they get to their spots, right? What's Jimmy's spot? Right baseline jumper. Can't stop it. Right baseline jumper. All day long. 5 feet from the basket. Baseline jumper.
You know what's crazy is that in year 2, when he shot 40% from 3, he had that snake dribble to the free throw line and had a mid-range right there. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
But got to get that back in his bag.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Salute to everybody on the grind once again. Definitely appreciate everybody for tapping in with us. Okay. Let's get to, I see the people on the Discord. Let's just, because, I want to make sure my people on the lunch break can get to all the topics before they got to get back to the Grizzlies. So let's get to Evan Fournier, Alex. Fournier. Okay. Yep. He's going to be playing for Team France in the FIBA World Cup. But he had some very interesting things to say about the New York Knicks and his playing time. This was an interview by L'Equipe. I hope I'm saying it right. This is French. I got to dip into my diplomat bag. L'Equipe. And this was presented to basketnews.com. They cover a lot of like the EuroLeague stuff and basketball worldwide. And so he said in terms of his playing time, he said, it was frustrating. He had practiced a lot in the offseason. He ran a lot. He had never been so strong. When he realized he was not going to play, radically changed his way of working. He said that, he was able to, when he wasn't getting playing time and he got yanked out of the rotation, he said that he was able to enjoy his family and whatnot, reduce his warm-ups, this, that, and the third. Now, funny thing he did say was that, remember the Philly game? Remember the Philly game when Fournier went off and he became a Knick hero? He scored 17 points on 6 of 11 shooting and helped the Knicks beat the Sixers at home, the same Sixers team at home. Well, Fournier said that RJ had arrived in the locker room sweating, told me he was going to vomit, that he was not in shape, and Brunson was out. So Fournier's like, oh, man, I got to play, and I haven't warmed up. The game is on ESPN. I wasn't feeling well, but he ended up able to be a hero in this game, man. 17.6 of 11 shooting, 5 of 8 from downtown. But then he was back on the bench. And here's an interesting quote that he had in terms of not playing. He said, you want to spit on everyone. You have hatred. Derrick Rose and I looked at each other and said to each other, what the hell are we doing here? During the 5-on-5 practice, we were on the side like some prospects. Uncool times. And when I realized that wouldn't change, I took things more slowly. I focused on myself and didn't let the rest get to me anymore. I did 3 cardio sessions, 2 weight training a day, so on and so forth. On his relationship with Tibbs, he says, I have nothing to say because I have none. When he took me out of the 5, he just told me he was going to try something else. Then at the first matchup of a road trip, he announced that I was leaving the rotation and ciao. Now, he says, in terms of the Knicks trading him, he says, I would be very surprised if I was a Knick next year. They pay me $18 million. They have no interest in keeping me. If you wanted to trade me with a good return, why didn't you use me? I was coming out of a season where I was the 4th best three-point shooter in the league and the Knicks record holder. Why not take advantage of it? Now they won't get anything interesting, and that's normal because I couldn't show anything on the court. Al, your thoughts on the Fournier comments? Ripping the Knicks on his lack of playing time. Your thoughts?
Interesting that I thought he wanted to be around for the birth of his child in 2023, right?
Yeah.
Because he had a child earlier this year. So I don't know if he wanted to be traded. I thought there were some talks about him wanting to stay in New York just so he could be with his family for the birth of his newborn. Congratulations to him. But it's interesting that now he's like, I want to move, all these other things. It's like, I get that. But I think he also wanted to stay. So let's just get that out of the way. 2, I'm not shocked with all these comments about Tibbs, about the team, anything like that. But let's keep it a buck. All right. And I said this out on Twitter. He didn't fit what the Knicks did. All right.
Yeah.
When they signed him, he was the first signing before Kemba. You could be like, okay, maybe you get a lead point guard, good defender. Fit matters in the NBA, just like in any other sport. he doesn't play good enough defense to deserve playing time over Grimes, man. We saw what happened.
Yeah.
We saw what happened first year with him and Kemba. Turnstile. Absolute turnstile. Yes, there were nights where offensively won you some games. All right. I was here last for that 2021-2022 season when Supernova against the Celtics, but he made some poor decisions. His defense wasn't there. Okay. So let's call it what it is. And this is something where I think players and front offices have to think like, is this player going to fit with what our coach does? Tibbs being a defensive-oriented guy, not offensively creative. That's what Fournier needs. This is a guy who was in Orlando, had a lot of sets called for him where he was curling, driving to the basket,
playmaking.
Got to work a lot of on ball. Wasn't going to happen here, man. What they wanted him to do was be like Duncan Robinson, and that's just not his game. So I think for fit-wise, just poor from the get-go between front office, him thinking all that stuff. And even though he came to the team thinking all good stuff, like, I want to go play for a competitive team. I like what they're doing over there, turned down from what the Celtics were offering. Not a good for him. So he's got to take some responsibility too, as well as the front office, right? Last thing, like I said, defense, man, just wasn't there. If you wanted to be out there on the court starting, should have improved your on-ball defense, because how many times did we see in transition he'd be lost?
Yeah.
We couldn't have that, man. You can't have that.
Yeah.
This team is not offensively, even though they were a top 5 offense based on offensive rating. They didn't do it in the way that you would want to see it, which is off-ball movement, cutting, all those things. Remember, a lot of isolation, second chance opportunities, putbacks. That's how they got to that point. Nowhere in that does that fit for Fournier's game.
1,400 people on the check-in. We are locked and loaded right now. Number one show for the fans, by the fans. My guy Jay from Puerto Rico says the Knicks should have gave Burks Fournier's money. If we could start that comment in the chat, that's a comment of the day. Salute to Jay from Puerto Rico. I give Fournier credit on this front. He could have easily just said, you know what? I'm getting 18 million bags. I get to ride my scooter to work every day. I can go through Central Park. I can hang out with the family. I can explore New York. I'm good. He's hungry. He wants to play. I give him credit on that front. He keeps it real. I give him credit for that as well. He never minces words. He came on the show and he was honest from beginning to end. He never minces words. So I give him credit for having the desire and the passion to still play the game. It's never easy for whether you're a star player or a guy that was getting consistent rotation minutes. It's never easy to adjust to being a bench warmer. Never. So I give him credit for still wanting to be that player for this team. And to a certain extent, he has a point. He did set the three-point record for the team. A lot of us in that Miami series, when the team was building a brick house, they got into the construction business. Maybe there was spots to get him in there to help give the offense a little lift. Maybe. But as you said, his defense was so woeful that it's hard to even blame Tibbs for not going there, right? It was a tricky offseason pickup. I liked it when they first got him. I thought they needed someone who had some shot creation skills. I thought Norman Powell was the guy that they should have went after. The Knicks were interested in Norman Powell at the time. Norman Powell, if you remember, got a 5-year deal from the Blazers. Maybe that was a sticking point between the two sides, why the Knicks moved off of Norman Powell, but I thought Norman Powell would have been the better two-way player to get than Fournier. Nevertheless, they settled for Fournier. Outside of that first game against Boston or the entire regular season against Boston, it was pretty much a disaster. Him and Kemba made the defense worse, and it went downhill from there. So, from his perspective, like you said, and I don't think he's not capable of being a better defender or better than he is. He is what he is. He is who he is. So you can't really knock Tibbs for taking him out of the rotation, isn't it? And it's so funny because the comments on the Fournier interview amongst Knicks fans are still polarizing, because you have some fans that are saying, well, his defense was woeful. He was bumming it up. They were better when he left. Then you have other fans that are like, this is what Obi's talking about. This is what Cam is talking about. This is what D Rose is talking about. Tibbs, this is why people don't want to play for Tibbs, this, that, and the third. And I read those comments. I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't we want Tibbs to play the kids? Weren't we looking for more playing time for Grimes? Even Cam jumped into the starting lineup when Fournier got benched. Deuce McBride got some minutes. Like, isn't that what we were looking for from Tibbs in terms of personnel adjustments to get the kids some more run? That's what we were looking for 2 years ago, right?
For sure. And I agree with you on that. So, but I think there is some valid argument against Tibbs reading this, okay? And I just want here's what it is. Like, I think when you read this and you see Evan Fournier struggle, like, you talk about Miami series, I would not have I look at Spoelstra, he can get Duncan Robinson out there. Look, they didn't have Tyler Hero. When we talked to Brady Hawk, they're like, look, you can't have both those guys out there defensively. That's a sieve.
Yeah.
One of those guys, it works. And you see how Spoelstra is able to find ways to get Duncan Robinson open with his game plan. Tibbs ain't like that, man. So, like, I would not have wanted to see that, because guess what? We're going to see even worse defense. And the defense was fine for the most part. Okay. Yeah. There are holes depending on certain players who you look at. Not going to go down that route.
Yeah.
But Tibbs ain't that guy. And this is where the valid criticism comes in. Tibbs' lack of offensive creativity is a concern for this team, man. I think it truly shows how it's wear and tear, grinding, very isolation heavy. That's not the way you want to see your team play, because it takes a toll. Yeah, Brunson, Randle were able to excel in that. But look how many times we saw no Quentin Grimes. We're like, Grimes, be aggressive. But at the same time, can we find Grimes? Can we figure out a play to get him going? Same thing when I asked for the second unit. It's like, okay, Quickly got it going. When you go press Quickly to be like, let's get a set for Quickly to run and get some other guys involved. Where was Isaiah Hartenstein for beginning of the season, where it's like, he has some passing chops, doesn't get it in there, right? And I think if you're someone around the league, and we know there's players like Paul George who respects Tibbs, guys who played on Team USA who understand Tibbs and respect him for what he's done. I think if you're a player around this league and you're thinking about, I want to potentially go play for the New York Knicks, I'm looking at the head coach and be like, is he going to maximize me? Is he going to utilize my talents? Offensively, if you're thinking that you're a star, you're going to go play. But if you're just a role player, that's question, man. And you need to fill out a team with solid role players, whether they're young, old, doesn't matter. So if you're a player and you're saying, this is what happens for Evan Fournier when he went to play for Tom Thibodeau, you look at Kemba Walker, right? You're like, is this the best course of action for me? So that's where the valid criticism. I don't know if Tibbs, like, as a coach, is someone that you're like, I want to go play for him because he could ruin my career, right? And not necessarily he could ruin my career. Look at Evan Fournier. It's like, well, and even though Evan's saying, hey, he didn't play me, it's like, you didn't deserve to be played for this on this team based on what the team needed and the direction that they're going. But at the same time, was Tibbs even creative enough to be like, all right, we're gonna get Fournier in here because I know how to create a offensive scheme where we're gonna run an action where maybe Brunson will be a dummy, or we have another shot out there like Grimes, he'll be a dummy, but we'll get Evan Fournier a great open look where he can either cut, do whatever he does back in Orlando. Didn't happen. What we saw in Fournier in Orlando did not transpire in New York. And to be for Evan Fournier, I think his best bet is to be like a 6th, 7th guy, like we saw what happened to Andre Iguodala out in the Warriors, Sean Livingston out in the Warriors. I think that's where his role is right now if he wants to be in this league.
Yeah, the question is what team, man? I mean, what team is really going to play for a one-dimensional player? Is it the Wizards? They got Poole out there, and Poole's out there going to be able to chuck. Maybe he joins the Poole party with the Wizards. They tried to engage with the Pacers as well as the Phoenix Suns to get campaign in order to get the traded player exception, which I thought if they would have been able to get that would have been a great move based on Fournier's value having plummeted. But that move went south, and campaign has been traded to the Spurs. Spurs now have a lot of guys on roster spots right now that are signed that they got to make moves. They just cut Lamar Stevens, so I don't think the Spurs and a Fournier Wembanyama reunion is likely. The question is, what do the Knicks do now? Because people were asking, when he said the comment like you wanted to spit on everyone, people were asking like, whoa, this doesn't sound like a real interview. I think what it was, it seems like, this is just a guess on my side. It seems like he did the interview in French. And you know how with languages, sometimes no direct
there's no translation.
I don't necessarily think he would say that. He doesn't come off as a guy like that. But it just seems like the translation was a little bit off. But nevertheless, I think he's turning the heat up on the Knicks to find him a new spot. He doesn't want to go through the same situation. Challenges for the Knicks. What are you going to do now? And what can you get for this guy whose value has plummeted? So we'll see there. But I want to shout out, first of all, I want to shout out a $50 super chat from Paul Collins. Says just sending you guys some off-season support. The Bay Area Warriors game meetup last year was on fire. Good looks on setting that up, CP. Hope JD and Alex make the trip next time. Salute to Paul Collins for sure. And then I want to shout out this $5 super chat from Marlon Small. He says, are we going to ignore the fact that Fournier compared himself to Goku on Namek in the regeneration capsule? Now, Al, I need you to translate this for me because, as you know, I'm not a young whippersnapper. I'm an old geezer. No, I never watched Dragon Ball Z. Never got into it. So here it is.
Damn.
Here it is. He says, that just wasn't me. But here it is. He says, Fournier told that he even played a mental image of his head to help him cope with the fact that he's not getting on the court anymore, despite having a contract with the team. He says, do you know Dragon Ball Z? When the hero Goku finds himself on planet Namek, injured in a regeneration capsule, I had this image in my head all year, every practice. All right, Al, so please translate that for me and all the older people here. What is that? What is he referring to here?
Sure. And I think I sent it to you. Let me send you this image again in the Slack so you can you can post it. Please share it on the channel. I just sent you the tweet. This is the image that he's talking about, so everyone can have an idea.
Appreciate it, man. Please translate this for us.
Yeah. So in this series, Goku is woefully injured. He has to get into this chamber, heal his body, so that we can come out on planet Namek, fight Frieza, win, turn Super Saiyan, and go ham. Let me tell you something though. Fournier ain't Super Saiyan though. All right. When I think about somebody who's going into this chamber to get healthy and to get ready, I'm thinking stars, bro. I'm thinking somebody like, Giannis Antetokounmpo. All right, he had a down season. He's going to the hyperbolic time chamber. Yeah. He's going to this into this chamber just to get healthy. Yeah. Anything like that, right? This ain't the hyperbolic time chamber. This is just a regular chamber for healing. But gotcha. I'm thinking someone like that. Gotcha. They come out from an injury. They come out and they ball out. When you think Giannis dropping 50, that's how I'm expecting Evan Fournier when he's talking about like he gets back on the court, drop 50, make it easy. Gotcha. He ain't that dude, bro. He ain't that dude. All right. You got to be a star to use this reference, man. You got to like. Here's a better one. Kawhi Leonard, right? Okay. Gets injured for the Spurs, gets traded to Toronto, beastly in the finals. That is this. That's what I'm thinking, man. Okay. He turned up the dial. Steph Curry. You know how Steph Curry is like comes back injured from the following season, goes out, wins the NBA championship. Yep. That is this reference. Got you. Okay. I appreciate the translation, man, because I read it. I completely glossed over it and had no importance to my life. But, shout out to you and Marlon Small for bringing it up. It's important to bridge the gap here. This is what we do on Knicks Fan TV. We are a multi-generational show bridging the gap. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I just never got into the Dragon Ball Z thing, man. I don't know, man. Fournier's almost my age. He liked it. That just, I don't know. That just wasn't really my speed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just wasn't really my thing. I'm an X-Men guy. I'm an X-Men type of guy. Look, man, Marvel. I got a Dragon Ball Z figurine over here. I had Dragon Ball Z figurines growing up, man. I like that type of stuff. Funko Pops, all that type of stuff. Okay. That's along my line. Right?
I do have Funko Pops. I got Funko Pops for little man. I got the Biggie Smalls joint, the Spider-Man. Yeah, nice. The Biggie Smalls joint is fire, man. I got to get him another one. The arm broke off and thing. But anyway, before we get all the way off the rails here, I appreciate the translation. We're going to get to the phones in just a second. 0031, $20 Super Chat says Fournier has no leg to stand on. He admitted to not staying ready, unlike Duncan Robinson. Tibbs couldn't even go to him knowing he wasn't sharp to begin with. Trade him back to Orlando for Jonathan Isaac. The numbers work. All right, so I don't know if 0031 is my guy Cody Clark, the Jonathan Isaac fan, but that wouldn't be the worst thing. That wouldn't be the worst thing, you know.
Wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be.
yeah.
I see a comment in here. I just gotta point it out. Real life ENT1. He's like, I gotta ask if Alex can ball talking like that. I won a rec league championship.
Okay.
You know, I got one.
Hey, man.
Second leading score.
Listen, man, you're not hard to find now. You know what I'm saying? Just go to Boston, ask for Mr. Vegas, and they'll take you to the nearest basketball court, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Come through.
Come through, man. Shout out to a young OG in the chat. TP, did you at least watch wrestling? Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. We could definitely nerd out on WWF stuff. I can go into that all day. Absolutely. No problems. JP, $20 super chat says poor asset management from Obi and the pick to a $19 million free agent that isn't playing a year later. You knew who he was when you signed him. Assets just eroded. Fair points, man. Fair points. $20 super chat from Lauren Smith, a loyal franchise channel supporter. $20 super chat says, I call BS on the role player comment. Quickly's a role player. Josh Hart is a role player. They both figured out a way to be successful. Fournier's issues were Fournier's issues. Yeah, but those are also better defenders. I mean, everybody, even if they practice hard enough, just can't improve. You know, he just doesn't have it. He is who he is at this point in this game. So that's just that. Real quick, salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, let's get those likes up, man. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Afternoon edition of KFTV Live, the number one show for the fans, by the fans, getting it cracking today. We got a lot of people in the chat right now, man. 1,500 to be exact. So let's get up to 1,000 likes. We got to set off the algorithm. Let them know that the number one show for the fans, by the fans is on and popping. And so we can get some more people in here. We definitely appreciate everybody tapping in on the lunchtime hour. We're going to get to some calls as well. So make sure you don't go anywhere. And we here, man. But before we get to the calls, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to unleash the beast within you, the beach beast within you this summer. Manscaped is here to help you level up your beach game with their new Beard Hedger Pro kit. They're going past waist deep in the grooming game and diving in head first to give your facial hair fantasies. The Beard Hedger is a game changer, allowing you to shape your beard like a true beach babe. So this summer, let the beach balls bounce and turn heads all over the place. Visit manscaped.com. Use promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. It's the best deal on the market. Our guys at Manscaped have been supporting us for 3 years now, and they continue to innovate with great products for today's man. It's not just about the Lawnmower 4.0 to take care of the family jewels. Now they got the Beard Hedger Pro, so you don't have to worry about, using the Lawnmower Pro for up top and up bottom. Now you got one for your beard and one for the family jewels. You're good to go. The Beard Hedger Pro kit, they give you the beard conditioner. You get your beard balm. You got your beard oil, beard brush, beard comb, the whole 9 yards, man. It's a great package, a great kit for those of you that want to take care of your beard and all your grooming needs. I see Al, he's coming back to us. He's coming back into the fold. So, Al, you could use something like this, man. You do have it. So,
I do.
Go ahead and get it popping, man. Go ahead and get it popping.
The kit is legit, all right?
Yeah,
that's all I got to tell everybody out there. The kit is legit. Make sure you go get it.
Andrew Chavaria, Manscaped midseason tournament. There you go, man. I wonder who's going to get that sponsorship deal. Maybe Manscaped jumps in there, man. Right now, it's just called the NBA Cup. I think that'll change, the in-season tournament. I think that'll change. They're going to sell that thing for billions of dollars.
For sure. I wonder where they're going to play it in Vegas. You think it's going to be at the T-Mobile Arena?
I would have to think so.
Is that where the Aces play?
Yeah, I would have to think so. Until, LeBron builds his, arena for his new team, the Las Vegas Gamblers.
Until him and Steph and everybody else buys that Vegas team?
Right. Okay. Right. There it is. Gotcha. Open fight out super chats at CP. We need that one good off-season wrestling show. Top 5 fave views. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I just hit my guy Ariel Alwani up this morning. He's a little busy right now, but I think he might be the ideal candidate to have that show with. Take calls, do the whole 9 yards. I gotta wait. I gotta wait for my guy Ariel to free up, and we'll get it done. No question about it.
When are we going to do a video game one, man?
We got to do one. We got to get my guy RGT into the mix, man. Shout out to my guy RGT. We got to get RGT into the mix and do the video game one. Might as well. This is the off season, right? So this is probably no better time than now to do it.
For sure. And look, he's everyone's favorite Nintendo YouTuber. Just kidding. That's the joke that he has running.
Nice.
Tune into his channel. Great content over there.
Great content.
I got questions about Zelda for him, man. So
right,
we gotta schedule something up.
No doubt. Let's get to the Discord, man. The OG, the rhyme animal, the legend, Chuck D in the building. Chuck, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, CP Alex, what's up?
Good to hear from you, OG, man. How's everything going?
What up?
Good. Happy Hip Hop 50 in the
Absolutely.
middle of July, and it's on, man. And Manscaped even works for the grades, but no testimonials. Let's get the thumbs up. And then the code of Cody Glock. Yes, Jonathan Isaac. I guess that trade, the numbers work. But once again, this shows just that discord between the management and the coach right now. I mean, this is Tibbs' team, so unfortunately, things it's not going to fall everybody's way in Tibbs' way. Remember last year when we lost that game to Dallas and Tibbs turned it around. This is just who we have. So, Fournier was a pro to me, but it was about Tibbs' survival, man. Dude was damn near playing with 8 people or 7 players, man. So here we are, right? And we're looking at the Philadelphia Titanics, right? It ain't going to happen down there. It's cooked down there in Philadelphia. I think it's one of these things right now. And you got Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey is what you call the brilliant failure, right? Everybody else has stepped up that's in our path. The pace has stepped up. The Heat will step up. Boston stepped up. We got this directly in our face, right?
Yeah.
There comes a time when it's the time. That's all it's about. To go get Embiid, it's just that time. It makes me kind of look side-faced at the Obi trade now, because anybody except for Brunson should be packaged up along with them million draft picks and sent down the turnpike to try to get Embiid. It's going to be sad to see like a Quickly Grimes or RJ in that package. So I don't think it should just be about Embiid. I think we grab Harris too, because a Harris will respond to a Tibbs. It's about who we're going to bring in that's going to respond to a Tibbs, or you gotta get Tibbs out of there. So I'm not a guy that's going to be anti-Tibbs, but oil and water just don't work, So Daryl Morey tries to be the brilliant guy, but he's also the brilliant failure. That we can't get fleeced on it, but I say we go after Joel Embiid. We'd be stupid not to when everybody stepped up. It's just a shame because, maybe Randle would be a part of a package and a rebuild just to take him. But, here we go, though. It's like we can't get rid of him. And it'll be interesting on how they all play together. But I don't say that there's a reason not to try to go get a Joel Embiid, even if his knees are 50 years old. You go get that. You do that. There comes a time when it's the time. Peace, CP, Alex, Knicks Nation, let's go.
Yes, sir. Salute to the OG, Chuck D in the building, the legend, man. Everybody throw a hashtag PE in the chat to salute the legend among us, man. Hip-hop turning 50 this year. Been a big year for the culture, and Chuck is all over it, man. So well-deserved, and we appreciate his support tapping in with us in the lunchtime hour, man. A great show that we just that we got going right now. We're still going. Great show that we have going on right now. So we appreciate everybody in here at the moment and tapping in with us. Area code 917. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
Gentlemen.
There he is. I just did the Manscaped read. I got no screeners today. I don't know the numbers. Right on cue, man.
Listen, first of all, following up Chuck D is just an honor in itself. Number one, I just want to say, in regards to Manscaped, I'm going to unleash the beast, but no testimonial. Don't worry. That's between me and everyone else in the chat. First of all, thank you guys for having an afternoon show. Gives me a reason to actually stay awake during lunchtime. Okay. As far as Embiid, anybody who's against it, I don't understand your rational way of thinking. Who else are we getting? I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, again, we might not get him. I mean, who knows what happens there? But if there's an opportunity, you got to strike, and you don't play around. You go for it. You can't just keep waiting on the sidelines and then losing players, losing assets. Like Obi, we didn't get a lot for him. Fournier, we're going to have to probably add a pick if we want to get rid of him. At this point, the last asset that we actually got something for was probably Morris, right? When we got that number one that turned out to be IQ.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the last one that we ever moved that way. But anyway, as far as Embiid, hell yes. Let's get rid of Fournier. Thank you for taking my call. Rapid Fire King. You know me.
Rapid Fire.
Glad you guys are both back. Glad Alex's beard is back.
Yeah.
Number one. Thank you, Alex, for going the beard back. I'm really honored on that. But listen, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Let's go Knicks.
Absolutely, man. Salute to the OG. Salute to the OG. Tom from Huntington, man.
Salute to Chuck D. Salute to Tom from Huntington. I see that everyone's happy that the beard's coming back.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's a miracle, but miracles do happen every day, man.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle, he says. I told you it only takes a couple of weeks, bro. Relax. Relax out there. Relax. But you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Continuing with the Embiid talks, and I know you mentioned Julius Randle being in a trade, and I see TM saying he'd be fast, the first one to drive him to the airport over here in the chat. But we did have, once again, going back to that Zach Lowe podcast with our guy Ian Begley from SNY, and this is quoting him. Ian said, "I don't think there's a world right now where the Knicks would move Julius Randle." He then goes on to say, it would have to be for like a Joel Embiid or a player. Or Joel Embiid or a player like that's going to change your franchise day one as soon as he steps in the building. So take that for what you will. Ian's very plugged into the Knicks. If there is an option, if you really want, if you're thinking of what would take for Julius Randle to be moved in a trade, be probably for someone for Joel Embiid. But just like Chuck D said, if you're the Knicks, would you want to see what alternative routes are there to keep Brunson, Randle, and Embiid to have that type of star power on your team?
No. If I got to trade Randle to get Embiid, he's out of here.
But I'm saying, is there a world where you want to keep all three?
No.
Oh.
I need a wing. I need a wing. I need a wing. I need a wing.
What do you need?
A wing. Please. All love to Julius. Remember, he did, extend the olive branch to us. All love. But if I got to part with Julius, and no disrespect to my guy Trav B Music in the chat, that he's number one fan, and Robert Randolph. But if we got to trade Julius to get Embiid here, all love, man. We'll see it. We need a wing. Need a wing. We need a wing. TM, salute to TM in the chat, man. I think we got a lot of people in the chat here. We got a lot of franchise channel members in here. I want to give some away to the franchise channel members, man. TM, hit me up on the Slack, and let's figure out a trivia we could do for our franchise channel members, and do a giveaway during this lunch hour to give back to our loyal franchise channel supporters. Hit me up in the chat. While we do that, while we wait on that, Dave G on the Discord. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Dave G.
What's going on, guys? Been a minute.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. First things first, let's get the thumbs up. Hit the sub button.
Absolutely.
Let's get that taken care of first.
Yes.
Salute to Chuck D.
Yep.
Glad to hear from him. Thanks for doing an afternoon show. It's pretty nice. I got to work early, so I got to hop on for a minute. The Knicks have made some moves this offseason, and as you know, Twitter kind of blows up or whatnot. But people gotta relax. Like whatever happens with whatever star, like what's gonna happen for the Knicks is somebody's gonna demand a trade to the Knicks, whether it's CAA client, whether it's Joel Embiid, maybe Luka Doncic gets pissed in Mavs land, whoever it is, somebody's going to demand a trade, and it's going to be the Knicks because somebody's going to want to play with Jalen Brunson. What they're doing right now is they're stacking the championship depth, which is what they have. It'd be nice to have a 3-4, somebody who could play that, which is why I think they're kind of targeting an OG Anunoby. I would have loved to get Cam Johnson. That was a pipe dream. Obviously, he's not leaving Brooklyn. But that's why they're looking at a guy like OG Anunoby, because then you have the championship depth, and all you have to do is pull the trigger on the guy. Joel Embiid is the guy. He's the definition of the guy. You pair him with Jalen Brunson, you have a title contender, and you have the depth surrounding them. Packages Mitch, whether it's RJ, whether it's Julius, whether it's a IQ is extended. I don't know why they do that because they have Maxi, but you get the point. Like whatever the deal is, like they're building the depth right now. They're not worried about pulling the trigger on a 35-year-old Paul George or somebody else. Like people are getting their feathers all ruffled up because we're not making trades. We're not getting the star power. Well, because we're waiting on the guy. Guess what? Steph is getting old. LeBron is getting old. Kevin Durant is getting old. These guys are getting old. Whether it's Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, who cares? We're about to enter the championship window, and they're making the right moves to be able to have the team in order to then compete for a title once they get the guy to pair with Jalen Brunson. So I like it. I like the moves. I'd like to add the wing. I would have liked to have seen that trade, the campaign trade to get that trade exception and maybe then get OG, but it didn't work out. It is what it is. They're always thinking. They're making moves. They're making smart moves. We're not just selling the farm for nonsense. Let's keep it going. It's a good offseason. I'm pumped for the season. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Dave G on the Discord. Rate that call in the chat, man. What do you guys think about Dave's call, man? Rate that call. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. We in post-game mode right now, man. Dave G's audio was crispy too, man. I had to turn that down on my end, man. Yeah. Dave got it. His equipment's on point. Salute to Dave, man.
Crispy, and it is 1:40 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Afternoon.
You're cooking.
And we're getting that post-game energy.
Yeah, it's
Love it.
Post-game energy, man. I had a feeling. This is why I put the bat signal out there. We got to get the people together. We had to reconvene. I had a feeling, man.
Yeah, CP sent me the message. He sent me that message on Slack today. He was like, yo, you ready?
12:30.
I was like, let's go.
Yeah. 12:30. And we're doing NBA report tonight. Special guest Corey Tulaba, No Ceilings Podcast. We'll recap NBA Summer League and look forward to the season ahead, man. So tap in with us on the NBA report Summer League recap with our guys at the No Ceilings. Above the Rim says, oh, shoot, we live. Yeah, we live. This is not replay, gang. We are live and direct. Okay. Next on the Discord, it says W. W, go ahead and unmute your mic. W on the Discord. I don't know what this guy's name is. Let me see. Just says W. All right, W going once. All right, we lost W. We'll pack him up. Okay, LD. Once you hear this, go ahead and let's go. LD, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Yep.
All right. So I got a question.
Yep.
Right. Because I'm hearing this information about Joel Embiid, possible Joel Embiid trade.
Yeah.
Okay. Joel Embiid is an ISO ball stopping, ball dominant, big, right? We already have that on our team named Julius Randle, who makes half what Joel Embiid makes. I think we have this addiction with like ISO players that cost too much, not only in pay, but also in trade assets. Because to get Joel Embiid, I'm sure we're going to have to give up 7.6 trillion draft picks. And it's guaranteed that he's most likely going to miss 20 to 30 games per season.
Okay.
Right? He's going to cost $54 million. And what is he going to do with the Knicks that he's done with Philly? What's the difference? Like, and another thing to keep in mind is his body is degrading every year. So we're probably going to have the max, if we trade for him, we'll have the max Joel Embiid for the next, 2 to 3 years?
Okay.
Then what?
Okay.
What will be isn't it smarter to build with depth, with turning, somebody like Julius Randle into maybe the 4th, 5th best player on your team? Maybe he plays like an Andrew Wiggins role. Like, why would we trade for a player who has not proven to win anything in a pace and space league? And if you look at the last four, finals and the finals winners, centers, they all either play off ball, they create motion, or they play in motion. So to start with AD, Dwight, and McGee, that trio with the Lakers. Then it was Giannis and Lopez. Then what's his name? It was this year it was Jokic, and the year before was Looney. There's no ball dominant big that's winning anything. So and I don't think Joel Embiid can win as the first best or second best player in this era. It doesn't mean he's not one of the best in the league, but I don't think you can win with that kind of player.
So you can't,
especially if you're going to trade that.
You can't win with the MVP.
So, Yeah, are we really gonna say he's the MVP? I mean, he played how many games? Joel, if we're really being honest, it was the MVP is Kendrick Perkins. That's who the MVP actually is. Jokic is really who won that MVP, but they credit for. But nonetheless,
okay,
I don't think you can.
So, what is your alternative then? What is your alternative? Because they making ketchup out of you in the chat right now. So what is your alternative?
My alternative is our approach. Our focus should be getting the inevitable, Donovan Mitchell, and then a Karl Anthony Towns makes more sense. So the trio will be Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and Karl Anthony Towns, because Karl Anthony Towns is still going to have at least 5 to 6 years of basketball, and he doesn't have to be your best player. But as a 7-footer, him being your third option is not a bad idea, and then you can build from there. But Joel Embiid is going to be the number one, and you're not winning with him. So I don't get the point. I would rather get the inevitable. We know Donovan Mitchell is going to be a Knick, and I know people are going to say the backcourt is too small. You can figure it out. When you have Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, go get a bunch of 3 and D players from the G League and try your best. But trading for Joel Embiid literally makes no sense at all. We already have that player on our team. He's just 6'9" and maybe doesn't play that.
He's not Joel Embiid.
He isn't, but he costs half, and he doesn't miss 30 games.
Appreciate the call.
He doesn't miss.
Appreciate the call. They making ketchup out of you in the chat, man.
Woo! All right. Did he say why trade for a guy who hasn't done anything in the playoffs?
He says we can't win. We can't win with the MVP.
Hold. Did he say why trade for a guy who hasn't shown he could win in the playoffs? Did he say that?
I don't know if he said he can't win in the playoffs. But yeah, basically he did say that. He said he can't win with a guy like this. That's what he said.
So he wants to go. So let me get this straight. We shouldn't trade for a guy who just won MVP, who's been an MVP consideration for the last last few years, I should say. But yet we're going to go trade for Donovan Mitchell, who we just stomped this season.
Mr. First round exit. And look, I love Spider. I would take Spider on this team. But he's Mr. First round exit.
Not saying that at all. Not saying I would. I'm not turning my nose up against Donovan Mitchell, but I'm saying for a guy who has not made it past the second round, we're going to trade for that guy. And now the best center option we're talking about is a guy who has not even made it out of the first round. Right.
So he wants to trade for Mr. First round exit and Mr. Little Game, because Karl Anthony Towns has not made it out of the first round. And then who cares about defense? They'll figure it out because we'll just get some G Leaguers and be the Miami Heat. And off we go. Wow. I mean, people, don't overthink this, man. Don't overthink this. If you have a chance to go get the MVP, go get him. And yes, Julius is an Iron Man. I get it. He's not Joel Embiid. They're not in the same class, ladies and gentlemen. Please, LD, they said I went too long with the call. I was giving you a chance to recover.
It's the same guy that called in saying Brunson plays in the ISO system. Is he really smart, right? This is the same.
This is the same guy who said Mikal Bridges is the king of New York.
Yeah. Well, hold on one second. So now we're changing up the whole thing. Like, well, Joel Embiid is an ISO guy, and that we can't really determine because Tibbs plays an ISO system. Then which is it, my man? Like Doc Rivers isn't the same thing.
Boy, oh boy,
Brown isn't the same thing.
Oh man,
wow, just wow. So now we want to trade for a guy who makes $50 million a year, who at best maybe is a third option on your team.
Yeah.
And boy, if you don't like Randle's decision making in moments, Karl Anthony Towns is really going to make you bang your head against the wall.
We're in post-game live mode, all right.
Oh,
we're in post-game live mode.
We are full.
People in the chat. Let's get up to 1,000 likes, man. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Rate that call. I mean, hey, if we have any fives, any fire emojis, go ahead and do so, man. Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Does LD have a point? I like the fact that he's contrarian. I like that.
I like the energy, man. I like the energy. Don't get me wrong.
That's why I let him go for a little bit, because I wanted to see how he would, really justify this thing. I like that. But I can't agree. I can't.
He's a Knicks fan, man. Look, he's a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
You can tell how passionate he is with these calls.
I
Love
like
it,
that.
man. From the Ovi call, from the Brunson call to this call.
Yeah.
He's got passion. We accept that.
Yep.
We're getting some negatives in the chat. We're getting some -5s and -4s.
Yep.
And 0s. And tomatoes.
Yep. Okay. So before I said I want to give something away for our loyal franchise channel members. So here's what I'm going to do real quick, and then we're going to get back to the phone call. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let the chat go in and continue to rate LD's call. Well, I'm seeing negatives in there. Man, LD, you took the show off the rails here, man. Tomatoes. Okay. So here's what we're going to do with the chat real quick. Well, we're going to switch it back, but for the moment here, here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch the chat right now to our loyal franchise channel supporters because this one is just going to be for them. This one is just going to be for them. Okay? Now, for our loyal franchise channel supporters in the chat, go ahead and comment in the chat. Get ready for this trivia because it's going to be coming up. We're going to be giving away a KnicksFanTV snap. We're going to be giving away a KnicksFanTV snap to our loyal franchise channel supporters, and then we'll turn the chat back on to regular people. So, for our loyal franchise channel supporters, Ryan Pendergrass just joined. Great job. To our loyal members, Shannon Martin, salute. Son from Brooklyn, salute. Okay, Ari's saying he's waiting on the Discord. Well, Ari, we like to have you close, man, because I feel like Ari's in his toxic bag, and so he wants time to go. So we'll let Ari close. We like to let Ari close, man. Okay. All right, here we go. Up for grabs for a KnicksFanTV snap. Here it is. Al, no cheating. No cheating. No cheating here, man. Joel Embiid was drafted in the 2014 NBA draft. Who did the Knicks pick in that draft? Let's go. Throw your answer in the chat right now. First person to get it, franchise channel member, is going to get the snap. Joel Embiid was picked in the 2014 NBA draft. Who was the Knick that was picked in that same draft? Drop your answers in the chat. And away we go. Wish you had the Jeopardy music or something here. That would be a little bit more suspenseful, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that the entire time. So.
You're not a fan?
Of Jeopardy? Love Jeopardy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I know that's what you watch, considering that you're the geezer on the Young Whippersnapper. I know that's what you like to do at late nights. You like to stay in on a nice Friday night and watch some Jeopardy.
Who did the Knicks draft in the same draft that where Joel Embiid was picked number 3 in the first round? Here we go. Here we go. And Ryan Pendergrast is the winner, ladies and gentlemen. TM just confirmed it was Cleanthony Early, ladies and gentlemen. Cleanthony Early picked with the 34th pick, second round pick in the draft. Cleanthony Early was the Knicks pick. You know who was picked number 7 in that draft, Al? Here's some trivia for you. Do you know who was picked number 7?
Number 7?
Yeah.
2014 draft?
Yep. Who was it? Let's go, man. You got to know your history, man.
Is that Jamal Murray?
It was one Julius Randle.
Oh, the 24. Yep.
It was one Julius Randle. Yep. Picked 7th. Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon picked 4th. Yep. And that was it. We just reset the chat so everybody can jump in. Andrew Wiggins first. Jabari Parker second. Joel Embiid third. So salute to Ryan Pendergrass. Email us at kftvmedia@gmail.com with your address and proof of your YouTube identity, and we will get you a KFTV snap. Salute to Ryan Pendergrass, man. Great job. Great job. Let's go, Dan from New Jersey. Dan, how you feeling? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Wah.
We in here. Let's go.
Listen, man, real quick, just want to let y'all know, got my MCAT score back.
Okay.
513, 86 percentile. Knicks, I know y'all hiring on that medical staff. I'll be available in a couple years.
Let's go. Dan from New Jersey. Big things, man. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Job well done.
Appreciate it, guys. Love y'all. Back to the show. Anyway, got a few things to say on Fournier. I agree it was the right move by Tibbs to get him out the rotation, but Tibbs does have a reputation for being horrible with managing players and managing personalities. We heard the same thing from Kemba. You know, he kind of just leaves his guys in the dark after he doesn't have any use for them. I'm not thinking too much of it, but I definitely don't blame Fournier for feeling the way he does about the whole situation. I honestly feel like Alex said, this is kind of just an indictment on Tibbs' lack of creativity. But at the end of the day, I'm not losing sleep over it. I wanted to ask y'all a question, though, about the possibility of if we trade for Embiid, because don't get me wrong, man. If Embiid is available, I'm trading for the MVP, bro. I'm trading for the MVP. Who are you guys prioritizing in keeping? Would you rather take the next couple of years of what we already know to be Julius Randle, or do you want to bet on the next couple of years of RJ Barrett? NCP, this one's for you. Who would you have rather seen live? The Hitman or the Heartbreak Kid? I'll hang up and listen.
Appreciate it. I think I seen both. I think I've seen both live. Definitely seen Shawn Michaels live. Definitely seen Shawn Michaels a ton of times live. So I seen Shawn Michaels for sure. Did I see the Hitman Russell live? I gotta go back to the memory. That's foggy. I did see Shawn Michaels though, later on in his career, Monday Night Raws and whatnot. Who would you prioritize, Julius or RJ? I'd trade Julius.
Yeah. I mean, I'd trade Julius just because I think the fit with him and Embiid would be a little too clunky.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I like Chuck D's thought about getting someone like Tobias Harris, who's a better three-point shooter, kind of space the floor more in that type of trade. That's the way I look at it as. But if I was going to play devil's advocate, let's just say let's say you trade RJ, right? Let's say you decide to keep what you know in a more established player in Randle, and you try to pair that with Embiid. You would need somebody highly athletic, great shooter at the wing for that to work, to pair with someone like Grimes.
Right.
And you have to be good defensively.
Right.
You know? So, and Embiid's a solid defender, but you're going to need another defender because you can't have Brunson, Randle, and then have someone who's like below average on defense. It'd be too much.
Yeah. That's why I say RJ of the two. That's why I say that. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We cooking here, man. We are live and direct. Area code 813. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
Yo, Rambo from Tampa, and I'm calling from the hot behind truck. I got my doors closed so you can hear me clearly.
Let's go.
But KFTV is in the middle of the day. I'm hyped. That's what I need, man.
Let's go.
I'm tired of all these guys out here with all their trades and all, let's do this and let's do that. And I don't want to hear that, man. I need to hear from my guys. I need to hear from Dan from New Jersey, man.
Right.
Congratulations to that man right there.
Yeah, congrats, man. That's a big move.
Love that. And anybody who said they don't want Embiid, y'all crazy. You need to go get the MVP. But I'll tell you like this. I say we be patient. Let that house burn. Okay? We're not here to bail nobody out. We're in a real good position. You see everybody. You see Bill, what they got for Bill, even though I know he had a no trade. Okay, but you see Harden over here, I don't want to go to the Clippers. You see Dame, I wanted to go to the Heat. Nobody wants to touch that because they're like, oh, he doesn't want to come play for us. So I say, let's be patient because we hold all the cards. They're looking for a bailout. Their house is burning. And for once, the Knicks is not. The Knicks is not. I finally stopped crying about Obi. We good. We all right. The Knicks is in a good position, man. Shout out to y'all. I just want to call in, man.
Salute.
Y'all hear the noise now. The quality isn't good. So I'm going to let y'all be, man. But it's always good hearing from y'all, man, for real.
Salute to Rambo from Tampa, man. Salute. Guy Rambo in the building. Absolutely, man. Salute to Rambo, bro. On the check-in.
Salute to Rambo.
Yep. Absolutely. Who else? $10 super chat from the Rhyme Animal. Chuck D says, Embiid is like getting Wilt Chamberlain today. The factor will be how Tibbs cooks in the kitchen. I see Harris working well back home with this because he can scrap on defense. We in mid-December now. Tobias Harris reunion, man.
He's from around your neck of the woods.
He is. Little Tobias reunion, no doubt. And there is that, you got to check out. I don't know if you checked it out, Al. You got to check out that Wilt Chamberlain documentary on Showtime. It's really good.
Dude,
really
you gotta
good.
check it out.
Yep.
You know what people got to do? They got to check out the interview you did on the Wilt Chamberlain documentary.
Great interview with the directors of the film, Rob Ford and Chris Dillon. Great guys, very well-rounded students of the game is what I want to say. And very passionate about the project. That you could see it came out in that documentary. Did a great job. They had sound bites from Pat Riley, who played with Wilt Chamberlain with the Lakers. Yeah, Jerry West was in that documentary. Billy Cunningham, legends of that stature. Some of his old teammates with the Philadelphia Warriors, with the San Francisco Warriors, Philadelphia 76ers. Great documentary, 3-part documentary, and a great interview with those guys. So make sure you check it out and follow us on the NBA Report. Okay, couple more before we wrap. Let's hear from Ari, man. Ari wants to get in. Ari, what's going on, man? How you feel? Ari going once?
I'm here. You hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Go ahead.
What's up, guys? Long time no speak. Just landed a new job, so
okay. Congratulations, man.
Congrats, Ari. Congrats.
Thank you, man. I've been trying to catch you guys live. Happy I did right now. That call by LD was the worst call I've heard in a while. Knicks fans are funny, right? Knicks fans want to win now. They want to win now. They don't want to rebuild. They don't want to draft players. They want to win now, but they don't want Joel Embiid. He's too injury prone. He's too lazy, not in good shape. They don't want LeBron. He's too old, right? Luka, he has the ball in his hands the whole time. He plays no defense. What's wrong? What is wrong with Knicks fans? Do you want to win, or do you not want to win? What are we doing here, right? We have to, there's no perfect player in the NBA. Giannis can't hit free throws. KD's injured all the time. Steph Curry, is getting older. There's no perfect player in the NBA. There's no 100% way to guarantee yourself a championship, right? All you could do is put yourself in a position to be a contender, to have the opportunity to win a championship, right?
Yep.
Obviously, luck is a big part of this, right? Kawhi never wins a championship if KD and Klay Thompson don't go down, right? The luck is a big factor of it, right? But if you don't want Joel Embiid, who do you guys want? He said Karl Anthony Towns. He makes more money than Joel Embiid, and I know that I'm going to hate him more than Julius Randle. Hard no on Karl Anthony Towns, right?
Yeah.
You have to be reasonable here, right? Now, personally, everyone knows I don't like this win now direction. I want to build. I want to sell Randle while he's high, because what's going to end up happening is he's going to opt out of his last year, and then he's going to be a one-year rental. You're not going to be able to get nearly as much for him then, and that's not good asset acquisition, as CP says, right? But if you are going to make a swing and you are going to go after this win now player, right, and you're really going to try to make that move, Joel Embiid is one of those 5 guys in the NBA you make that trade for, all right?
Yeah.
And again, I don't agree in selling the farm for one player. The only person I can remember that they did a trade in the middle of the season or offseason where they traded their whole team to bring in a player that won a championship was Anthony Davis, and that's because he's playing with the second best basketball player to ever live, right? So I don't necessarily like the direction, but if you're going to go after a player, Joel Embiid is that guy, all right? To compare Joel Embiid to Julius Randle, it's obviously it's the midday, right? KFTV,
yeah.
Not like how it was back when Moutier was running point, right? A lot of casuals have come onto the scene. A lot of young people, a lot of people, low IQ fans have come on as KFT is growing, right? I have to be here to put people in check. There's a lot of detoxifiers out there that are trying to detoxify me. Never gonna happen. All right, never gonna happen. Joel Embiid is that guy. He is one of those guys that you have that will do it. If you're gonna trade for Joel Embiid, you have Brunson, you have Embiid, then you just pack the roster with a bunch of 3-and-D guys, maybe a spark off the bench. You utilize your draft picks in the upcoming years to have cost-effective contracts to add with those two superstars, right?
Yeah.
You have enough shot creation, you have enough of that, right? So personally, the people that don't want Joel Embiid, they don't want a tank, they don't want a top pick, they don't want Joel Embiid. You know what they want to do? They want to trade a first-round pick for Josh Hart and another first-round pick for Grant Williams. And then they want to trade picks to get off of bad contracts. Listen, guys, they call it draft picks, not clear cap picks, all right? Not dump toxic contract picks, draft picks, all right?
Yeah.
You need to draft players, all right? The Knicks need to draft their players, right? Not punt it to next year, not do any of that. Draft your players. The one other thing I'll talk about real quick is Fournier, right?
Yeah.
We all wanted Fournier out. That Tibbs made the right move. The way he's handled it is the problem.
Yeah.
As CP said a million times, it's a relationship business, right? It's a relationship business, all right? You have to maintain positive relationships with your players. And the other thing about Tibbs is that it's not a black or white thing. You bench Fournier, but that doesn't mean you never play Fournier ever again, no matter what.
Good point.
You have to communicate with your player. You have to tell your player what they need to do to maybe get rotation minutes, right? You need to be malleable. For example, in the Miami series, when I had to watch RJ and Josh Hart throw up brick after brick after brick. What's the problem with throwing Fournier in there for 2 or 3 minute spurts? Maybe it's a couple of threes, 6 points in the playoffs, swings the playoff game, then you put him to the bench. But if you're a coach, you have to maintain positive relationships with your players. You have to communicate with your players, and you have to have some kind of flexibility in the way you think. So I appreciate all guys. Knicks Fan TV for the fans, by the fans.
Yep.
Click that like button, subscribe, share, and shout out Imani Bates, highest ceiling, and I'm out, guys. Peace.
Ari, what a classic Ari call. Rate that call in the chat, man. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Came in with the energy, man. Well, I told you we in post game mode right now. I did like his points there on Tibbs and how he's handling these things. You know, as I said in the beginning of the show, it's never easy for an aging rotational player to come out and lose minutes. But remember, Derrick Rose, and there's 3 sides to every story, right? But even Derrick Rose, in the beginning of the year, when he talked about being out of the rotation, said that Tibbs really never said anything to him. And that's Tibbs, that's Tibbs' basketball son, for lack of a better word. They're close, right?
Yeah.
You had the Cam situation, Obi's frustration, now Fournier, the communication part. Is that a blind spot for Tibbs? Is that a blind spot? Remember that the players poll that came out in April was unanimous, almost unanimous.
But
Tibbs being the coach that nobody wants to play for.
But CP, we don't even have to go back to that. We can tune into KFTV, tune into the NBA Report. We've talked to John Krasinski, who's covered the Timberwolves. He's talked about when Tibbs was out there being not only a coach, but the GM, the lack of communication, the soft skills, those big, kissing babies, shaking hands. That's not really his thing.
It's not his thing.
He locks himself into his office, watches film. That's who he is. So it's not shocking, man, that Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, these are guys who don't hear from Tibbs, and it's just kind of he goes radio silent.
Yeah.
And to Ari's point, I thought that was a great call. You can't have that in the NBA, man. That's what I talked about earlier. Like, if you're a player and you're going to come here, like, there is that relationship aspect of the game that's always discussed. And if a player's thinking about coming to the Knicks, that's that step where it's like, is my career going to be derailed? Evan Fournier went from being the guy in Orlando, getting some decent minutes on the Celtics, starting on the Knicks one season, and now being completely removed. In that article, he says 1 year is okay. Not great, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But I can't go 2 years without playing. then then you're really taking its value. And he knows.
Good points. Good points. Good points all the way around. Great call by Ari. Good points, Alex. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up on the for you boys. Matinee edition of KFTV, man. Lunchtime edition. I definitely got to grab lunch in a little bit. I'm starving. But we had to get in. We had to tap in with the people, man. We had to tap in with the people. This is the people's show. We got to talk about it. These are hot topics. We staying on topic. We staying on point. These are hot topics. Knicks offseason central. So we got to get to it.
Got 1,500 in the chat.
1,500 still in the chat, man. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. And also, so to our friends across the pond, always appreciate doing a live show for you guys to be able to tap in on normal hours. Wherever you guys are from, throw your cities, throw your flags in the chat. Let us know where you guys are tapping in from. Al, did you hear these comments from Draymond Green?
Oh, boy.
Draymond Green.
Oh, boy.
You know, Al already talked about Knicks fans. You know, Draymond Green went a little in on Knicks fans a little bit, man. Let's
because everyone knows, man. Whether it doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
Okay, it does not matter who. Whether it's Reggie Miller calling a TNT game.
Yeah.
Whether it's Richard Jefferson talking about it on ESPN and making side comments, or now it's Draymond Green. They all know what they got to do, man. Just say the word Knicks, and we all come out.
Yeah. In droves.
Guns a-blazing.
Well, now let's hear this riveting discussion. We're meeting of the minds, if you will, between Draymond Green and one Trae Young. This is from the uninterrupted live show at the film festival. Here's Draymond and Trae.
And the reality is, I feel like where that all was birthed really was the series versus the Knicks, where everybody in New York Knicks fans are fucking delusional.
Whoa.
And
family show there, Draymond. Family show. But just to give some context, he's talking about how, in Soul to NBA New York, he's talking about on Trae Young being a villain and where it all started. So let's just to give people some context. Family show.
And miserable. And I love New York, so don't ban me from y'all city. But they're hard. They're a hard fan base. You go in the Garden, you hitting the shots, you bowing. Every timely shot you need to make, you're making every play. And what I actually think now, and continuing to watch and continuing to pay attention to it, is you are very much so a showman. But yet that's been flipped, and again, talking agendas into being this villain. And I'll be the first to say it. Being a villain it sucks. Like, it's no fun. But when it's up against you, you either fold or you stand up to it. You go into it. And so I've stepped right into it. And people have now made you out to be this villain.
I don't dive into that. Like, I kind of feed off the crowd. Like, if you were listening to the game in the 10 minutes left in the first quarter of game one, the whole arena was yelling F Trae Young. Like, 2 minutes into the game.
Fuck Boston. They said fuck me too.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm just hooping, I'm playing. I ain't said nothing to the crowd. I ain't bowed. I ain't say it's quiet as F in here. I ain't said none of that yet. Like, I just really played off of how they guarded me and how the fans reacted. Like, I come out playing, trying to win, trying to put on a show. And I mean, if the fans want to get into it, like with the Boston thing, like.
All right, that's enough. Okay, that's enough out of that. So, all right, let's dissect this piece by piece. Now, Draymond came after us and said, we are delusional and
miserable.
We got 1,500 people here in the chat, bro. We're not miserable. We are the greatest fans in the sport. I don't care who it is. I don't care Laker fans, Nuggets fan, Miami Heat. We are the greatest fans in the sport. Miserable, far from it. Delusional, absolutely. But that's part of the fandom. How many people did we meet, Al, in Vegas in Summer League? OGs. Living in Las Vegas, living on the West Coast.
Yep.
Came in there, donning their gear, Knicks hats, KnicksFanTV stuff too. All of that. Right? Why? Because they want to be tapped in. They want to come together with the community. We just had the super chat from Paul Collins, who was out there with us on the West Coast in San Francisco. My guy OG Jimmy Walker still tells you this to this day how appreciative he was of hosting that meetup. So we're not miserable. We're very happy people. We're very loyal people. Delusional, yes, because we want to see our team back on top to the promised land. It's been 50-something years. And so, yeah, we want to see who's going to be the next star, who's going to be the next guy to take us to the promised land.
Yeah, we're hungry, man.
We're hungry. We're hungry. And it's that same hunger that a lot of these outlets tap into to trigger us for their reactions. They rely on us to feed on their content, to digest their content. They rely on it. So we're not miserable. We're very much good people. Now, the whole Trae Young thing and like being a villain and this, that, and the third, I think there's like different categories of villains, right? There's villains like when you're just a killer. Jordan was a killer. Kobe was a killer. You know, Reggie was a Knick killer. Tim Hardaway, like those were villains because of your talent. And in that playoff series, I think that's what Trae Young, that villain character, was built up by the fans and the media, but because he killed us.
Yeah.
Game 1. What'd he do? He left Taj in it. He shook Frank out of his shoes and scored the game-winning point. From that point on, it was on. But that's, you don't get that in many other cities. That reaction. You don't get that. Yeah, it was vile. It was this and that. We don't condone the people spitting on him and stuff like that. That was way over the top. They should have got their ass beat for that. But it's a healthy respect for your game. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Look, in that series, right, against the Knicks, he averaged 29.2 points, averaged close to 10 assists per game, okay? Shot 44% from the field, shot 34% from downtown, all right? Like, he was doing his thing against the Knicks. So, yeah, you're getting some anger. I think we overdo it at this point because he hasn't had much success in the playoffs outside of that time. I personally don't think he deserves all the Trae Young stuff. I don't think he's at that level where we got to give him that much attention.
Yeah.
But he did his thing. But here's the thing, CP, when it comes to being a villain in the NBA, and Draymond mentioned it was showmanship. Yeah, that's really what it is. It's showmanship. Okay?
Yeah.
He's feeding off that energy. So if you want to feed off that energy from the opposing crowd, if you want to, do the and all that stuff while putting on a good performance, you're going to be looked at as a villain.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to know? Here's a comparison. No one looks at Kawhi Leonard as a villain. You know what I mean?
Right.
He goes in there, does his job, stone cold, stoic face, leaves, goes back home. If you're going to play off the opposing energy, the opponent's fan base energy, while still performing well, you're going to be looked at as a villain. Same thing with Draymond, man.
Yeah.
Draymond does that so well. He may not be scoring at the level of these guys, but defensively, facilitating all that other stuff, right? He plays off of it.
Yeah.
And you're going to be viewed as that.
But also because Draymond's a dirty player. I mean, let's face it, he's a dirtbag. Like that also plays into his villain. That was my second category villain. You have the absolute dirtbag, and he falls into that. Great player, genius. I absolutely glue guy.
Defensively,
glue
absolutely,
guy,
man.
Absolutely. But he'll also kick you in the nuts. He'll scratch your eyes out. He'll do anything to win. So that feeds into that, especially when he's on the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then there's your annoying villains that don't really shouldn't be that try to be villains, aren't good at it.
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
That's number 3. The guys that just talk. So we'll see.
With no game.
Yeah. Right. That's it, man. That's it. So yeah, that was their soapbox and their TED Talk, if you will, on being a villain. That was Draymond and our friend Trae Young. Okay. All right, man. So, Al, great show, everybody, man. I got to get some eats, recover for the NBA report tonight. Great show, though, man. Leave us some comments in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts, man. Embiid, Fournier, Draymond, whatever it is, man. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and we will get to it. Great show, though, Al, man. Great show. Impromptu show.
Right back at you, bro. Right back at you. Great job conducting today.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. So we will get back with you guys for another edition of Knicks Weekly. Shout out to Rare Edition. Says the only delusion is that Draymond thinks he's a top 500 NBA player of all time. I mean, 4 rings. We got to put some respect on his name. I still think he is. So, Shout out to Amato, franchise channel member. Kenny Gales, Dr. Roy Bramwell, salute to Chuck. The CB Rod says the real offseason acquisition we need is a legit offensive coordinator who can challenge Tibbs. Who's out there? Stan Van Gundy? Whoever's out there, Tibbs has to accept. I don't see it. I don't see it. Kenny Gales, $5 super chat, says if Evan defended players on the other team the way he defends himself, he might have played more games or even spot minutes. That is true, sir. That is true. Absolutely true. Lawrence Smith, I got that one. 000 got that one. JP got it. K Marco, franchise channel member, $20 super chat, says Evan could have helped if Tibbs had even the smallest bit of offensive creativity. Tibbs makes it hard to trade these assets when he destroys their value like this. Shout out to Got You Open once again. Chuck D, give away some KFTV 75 posters. Yes. That is on the list. We will do that on the next edition of Knicks Weekly, man. We got to get these posters out to the people because they are truly a work of art, man, and one of my signature pieces in this studio. So appreciate you, Chuck, and we'll definitely get that out to the people. Okay, let's see. What else? D. Carter, salute. Rob Rich, salute, franchise channel member. D. Carter. Shannon Martin, franchise channel member. Ryan Pendergrass, salute. Kev says, why are we not talking about Miles Bridges? Forget Cat. Miles can play the 3 and the 4. Well, it's not so sure if the Knicks want to go that route with Bridges and his history.
I'd stay far away, man.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go there. Hoodies Vintage, salute, man. Says take Draymond off the Dubs, and he's a worse Brooks for sure, man. Anyway, Al, great show. And we'll tap in tonight, man. NBA Report. See you guys tonight. Say 9:30, 10 p.m. Eastern time on the NBA Report. Tap in with us. We'll see you. Peace.